All of these models share one thing in common, and that is the consequences of those actions. Every choice we make, every action we take has a consequence, and that consequence is sometimes negative. The negative consequences I break down into two categories. And I love this category because it's actually something I am borrowing from the kink community because they really understand this well. So I'm going to use a very slightly kinky example to explain this, and then we're going to move it into the real world. So here's what it is. The difference between harm and hurt. Now, in a kinky situation, let's say you get spanked. Spanking causes pain, but it's not harm. So it's a little bit of discomfort, but at the same time, it's part of an overall thing that you find enjoyable. Whereas if somebody hits you so hard they break a bone, that's harm. That's serious damage. Now, moving outside of the kinky realm, the same thing applies. Hurt is something that causes you some discomfort, maybe some emotional pain, maybe some physical pain, but it leads you towards an outcome and a goal that you do want, that's enjoyable. So think of this as working out. When you exercise, you engage in activities that are hard. You sweat, you get hot, you exert yourself, you get sore afterwards, and a lot of people don't find the activity of exercise enjoyable, but they're working towards a goal, a healthy body, a better physique that they do enjoy. So they're willing to endure a little bit of hurt to get the good side of the consequences. The same thing applies emotionally. Sometimes we have to endure a little bit of hurt, somebody telling us the truth about the way we behaved and how it made them feel, or breaking up with somebody because the relationship isn't working. These are hurt. These are things that cause hurt and pain, but they are intended to ultimately move us towards a better way of being, a better version of our life, and a better version of ourselves. We are willing to endure that hurt to get to the positive consequences. Harm, on the other hand, causes real damage. This could be engaging in high-risk activities like drinking and drug use in order to mitigate social discomfort or hide from our pain instead of getting therapy, which would be hurt, but ultimately move us towards what we want. Let me clarify here really quick what I'm talking about. When I'm talking about drinking and drug use to mitigate your pain, I'm talking about the behavior that a lot of introverts indulge in when they force themselves into social situations that they just don't have the energy for, and they get overstimulated. So having a few drinks or something like that helps to reduce that sense of overstimulation and make it more tolerable. That is a coping mechanism, and I see introverts do it a lot in social situations when they're in that situation because they're following the I should idea, and they feel like they should be more social. They feel like they are supposed to be out with more people when in fact they would rather, maybe their social battery is drained, or they'd rather be in a one-on-one situation or a less stimulating environment. And that's what I'm talking about in this case. If you have a substance abuse problem, I encourage you to seek help. There's a number on the screen right now that you can contact to get some assistance with that and begin down that path to healing. And there's a link down in the description down below that you can go to. If you really do have an issue with these kinds of things, please get help, make your life better. We all want you to be better, okay? Now back to the rest of the video. Or it could be staying in a toxic work environments, all kinds of things that fall into the category of harm. If they hurt us long-term and cause lasting damage, both physically and emotionally, those things are harmful. And even though it's the shoulds that lead to harm, a lot of times we lie to ourselves and say, I want to do this thing, or I need to do this thing, even though falls really more into the category of should. And this is a lot of emotional masking.